Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and this is going to be a tag video that was really hard for me. Um, it's similar to what Wayne at Retro Horror asked me to do a while ago. I just couldn't do it. His had too much involved with the whole. His was very elaborate, and I wish I would have thought of something like that. But it was hard for me to imitate it. Now, Sean Erschen came up with your top 10 horror franchises. And Leo from Geek Legion of Doom kind of made it into a tag. Now, I kind of, when I was thinking about things, and this went through a lot of different, this went through a lot of different revisions. But I kind of had to come up with my own rules. uh, my first rule is it has to be three and above to be a series, in my opinion. And the second rule, and this one was really important to me, um, remakes or like remakes and stuff like that. I don't consider them part of the series as far as grading my top 10. I'm just considering the original movies and the original series, not the remakes or whatever. So, here we go. I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of upset people, but yeah, this is just my opinion. Um, Coming in at number 10 is going to be Final Destination. I actually love all of those films. Um, they're all a lot of fun for me. I don't think there is really, I think it was part four might be the weakest one for me, but it's not, I still like it. I can still watch it. So, number 10 is going to be Final Destination. Number 9 is going to be the Evil Dead series. And of course, this is excluding the remake or reboot or whatever you want to call it. Just the three. Um, Also, no TV series as well. I don't want to get into all that. But Evil Dead will be number 9. Um, I love those three movies. I'm not, let the hate begin. I'm not that big of a fan of part two. It has grown on me over the years, but it was one that I was actually quite disappointed with when I first saw it. I absolutely love the first one. I love the first Evil Dead movie, and I love Army of Darkness. The second one is growing on me. I do like it. I do like it a lot now. It's just not on par with the other two. Okay, so moving right along. Um, Number 8 is going to be Nightmare on Elm Street. This, of course, is excluding the remake because I'm not a big fan of the remake. I'm not a big fan of the remake. I'll just put it that way. Um, Freddy's Dead takes it down a little bit for me. I do still like it. It's just not one of my favorites. So, coming in at number 8 is A Nightmare on Elm Street. Coming in at number 7 is going to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, they had a live stream the other night, and who I mean by they, the Blood Spattered Trio, which consists of Horror Metal, Bronco Juggalo, and Sean Erschen. And we were kind of just chatting back and forth, me and Andrew Bellina and a couple other people, and we were giving our top 5, and I just threw it out there. But when I actually had to sit down and think about revisions and everything like that, you're going to see a different top 5 because I really had to sit down and think about this. So I just kind of a disclaimer. So number 7 is a Texas Chainsaw Massacre that actually made my top 5 when I was talking with Andrew. I do think there are, you know, the new generation or next generation or whatever you want to call it is not a great film. Um, yeah, I'll just kind of leave it at that. So number 7 is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Number 6 and this was a tough one for me. 5 and 6 were very tough for me. Is Psycho. Number 6 is Psycho. I love the Psycho quadrilogy. Like I said, I don't consider Bates Motel, the TV movie, part of the series. I don't consider, of course, the remake, like I said before, or the television show Bates Motel. Even though I did like the television show, but yeah. So number 6 is going to be Psycho. And I had a hard time between number 6 and number 5. Number 5 is going to end up being Child's Play, even though I'm not a big Seed of Chucky fan. I do feel that there are more movies in the series, and with I can watch Seed. It's not, I don't despise it like most people do, but it's not a good movie as well. So I kind of meh. Child's Play ended up at number 5. So yeah, Child's Play series at number 5. Number 4 is going to be the Hatchet series. I don't really feel that there is a weak film in the bunch. My least favorite is Hatchet 2, I guess, and you know, the whole eyebrow thing. Dave knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, Hatchet's going to be number 4, and I love Victor Crowley. I thought it was a great film. Which comes up at number 3 is going to be the Subspecies franchise. Let the hate begin. I love Subspecies, always have. I don't consider Vampire Journals to be. I didn't consider it when I was doing my list. I do like Vampire Journals. I do consider it part of the series, but for argument's sake, I'm not considering it for this. I don't know why, I just didn't. So that's number 3 would be the Subspecies series. Number 2 is going to be Halloween. Basically, the only film I really don't like in that series, and I'm not talking about the remakes, is Resurrection. It's just not a very good film, but I can watch it and get some enjoyment out of it. Not much, but some. So that's Halloween at number 2. Of course, number 1, it will always be for me, Friday the 13th. It is the strongest series. It is the series that I associate with majority of nostalgic memories in my life. Not a big fan of Jason Goes to Hell, never have been. I don't hate it anymore. I still don't really like it, but, you know, it is what it is. So Friday the 13th will always probably be my favorite series. I mean, who knows what's going to come up down the line, but, you know. So I wanted to give some honorable mentions. Other ones that I considered a ton, but ones that almost made the cut. Puppet Master. I'm a big Puppet Master fan. I had a big problem with Romero. If it would have just been the trilogy, that would have been very high on my list. But it's not just a trilogy, because you have Land of the Dead, you have Diary of the Dead, and Survival of the Dead. So it just kind of knocked it out for me. Sleepaway Camp was a tough one for me, because I like all 3 films. Unfortunately, Return to Sleepaway Camp sucked the big one, so it just knocked it right out. Hostel I didn't think was strong enough of a series. Saw I've always liked. It's a bunch of movies that I can watch. Not my favorite, of course, but I can always watch them. Jigsaw to me wasn't that great, so it kind of knocked it out. Phantasm was the hardest one for me to put on the side, and that's because of Ravager. Yeah, it's just it's rough. Insidious is another one I looked into. I like all the films. It wasn't strong enough with me. Return of the Living Dead, there are some really crappy ones in that series. Hellraiser, same thing. are some really crappy ones. Children of the Corn, Leprechaun. I considered Mimic. I just did a ranking the franchise recently on that one. Um, but the second one, the weakness of the second one kind of put it out for me. Jaws, the fourth one is just a terrible movie. I've tried so many times to like it. Tremors is one I considered. Not really a strong enough franchise for me. But, you know, those are the ones that I have pretty much written down. I have a whole nother sheet of, oh, and I Spit on Your Grave as well, the newer ones. Which is a remake series, which kind of put it out for me. So, these are the ones I've written down. I have a whole nother sheet of paper where I have all kinds of franchises on there. So this one was really hard for me. I wanted to make sure I gave it my kind of a definitive look. And it's very hard because there are some on my top 10 that could easily shift places, you know, based on where I'm at the time. So, but I've waffled on long enough, as Lisa says. But I did want to do this. I feel it's an important tag, and it's an important question that Sean asked as well. So, I don't really know who to tag. I'm going to tag the Horror Man. I'm just going to tag him. That's the only one I'm going to tag. From there, I feel like this is something I would really love to hear what he says about it, if he has time to do it. So, but yeah, that's those are my rankings, and I'm sticking to them. If you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.